Business Connections Live, the UK's leading online business channel. This is Business Connections Live with Steve Hyland.
Hello there, welcome along to Business Connections Live, the program for entrepreneurs, SMEs and business owners. Now, on today's show, we talk to Frank Furness, international motivational speaker, trainer and author. Frank is also a highly respected speaker and expert in successful new media marketing. Now, I had the opportunity to see Frank. He did an amazing piece of technology on Saturday. I was sitting in a meeting in London. He was in Florida. And not only was I watching him along with a group of other people as well, but also a whole group in South Africa were watching his presentation on new media marketing as well. It was a fascinating insight. The bloke is a real he's at the pinnacle of his expertise and experience, and he's a nice chap as well. Anyway, we saw Frank. I had a word with Frank after. I said, look, Frank, I'd like to show your program again, because I think a lot of people would find it interesting when it comes to new media marketing. He said there was no problem with that. So back on Business Connections Live, then we have Frank Furness. I kicked off the show by asking him how it all started for him.
Well, I started out as a drummer in a rock band many years ago, and then went into sales, did really well in sales. I was amongst the top 0.5% of salespeople in the world, and then started speaking about sales. But then realized there's a whole new world of sales, which is the internet and marketing on the internet. Learned about that about 10, 12 years ago. Now I travel around the world speaking all over on digital marketing, social media, how to connect and how to sell online.
If you were starting today, do you think you could achieve what you've achieved over those past 10 years? Because it has really moved on, hasn't it? And so is it the reputation of the past 10 years that's allowed you to be where you are today? And if you were starting today, do you think you'd be able to do it?
Well, I think there's a big difference. From 10 years ago or 12 years ago, it was all about networking, a whole different way of finding new business and marketing. So you've got your push selling, but you've also got your pull, your attraction marketing, which is where people are looking for you. They're going online, they're typing in a few things. They'll do a Google search, they'll do a LinkedIn search, and they'll do a YouTube search. If you come up on the first page, they'll actually go and have a look at your website. Your website has got to rock. If your website sucks, people are going to go out of there straight away. So you've got to think about it totally differently. You've got to think about who is your audience, where do they hang out, and how do you attract those kind of people to sell them what they actually want?
Kind of leads on to the first big question. When you go into businesses and you talk to businesses and you do your presentations, what do you think the most common mistake is that people make?
I think the biggest mistake people are making right now is, I've got to get onto every social media platform. I've got to be on Facebook, I've got to be on LinkedIn, I've got to be... No, you've got to be where your clients hang out. Biggest mistake is people don't do any research. They actually don't ask their customers, well, where do you hang out? What social media platforms are you on? What do you want from us? What kind of content? How often do you want the content? When's the best time to post it? They will tell you what they want, and then you form your social media strategy. People now go about it the wrong way. Oh, we've got to do all of this stuff. They put it out there and, well, no one's connecting. Well, they're not on that channel.
Well, you must actually hear the expression, I've tried that, but it doesn't work for me. Is that something that you typically hear back?
Oh, all the time.
Is it because they haven't done enough, do you think?
No, it's because they haven't targeted the right kind of audience. So it may be a B2B kind of business and they've gone onto Facebook. Well, chances are their clients aren't going to be on Facebook. It might be a B2C where you're selling a product, and there you've got to be on Instagram, you've got to be on Pinterest, you've got to be on Facebook. They go onto LinkedIn there, oh, no one's connecting with us. Well, it's the wrong channel. So ask your customers and then give them what they want.
There's always this big disconnect, isn't there? Like, for instance, I know you do LinkedIn a lot. What other platforms do you do?
I use just about every platform, but again, for me, I have different sectors and each one has its own strategy. So are you
doing the same thing on each of them then?
No. Each one has a different strategy. So I do a lot for financial advisors. I do a lot for CEOs. I'm very big in health and fitness. And in each of them, I ask 5 questions. I say, what do they want? The next one, what do I want? How do I best connect with them? what are the best channels to do, and how do I get them to take some kind of course of action. And each one of those is different for each of those sectors. There's no one answer that's going to be looking after all of them. Because if I do something really special for a financial advisor, it goes out to a health and fitness person, doesn't connect with me, I'm not interested, delete, I don't want to, unsubscribe. So it's really target marketing.
So you're using the different platforms for target marketing, but you do use LinkedIn quite a lot. When you target people on LinkedIn, now, how many people have you got following you on LinkedIn?
About 19,500 at the moment.
So I would assume that's not 19,500 of the same kind of people. That must be different market segments within that. So on a single platform, how do you differentiate between the different audiences?
So let's take LinkedIn. What I've done on LinkedIn is I want to either sell myself as a speaker at a big conference, or I want to sell products to certain sectors. As I've said, there's 4 or 5 sectors. So what I've done is I've got a guy who works for me offshore, and first thing he does, every day he does 3 sort of generic motivational posts that go out on every social media platform, and he posts them at different times. But the second thing he does, he connects with 20 people on LinkedIn every day in each of the sectors. So I might say, on Mondays, I want 20 financial advisors. On Tuesdays, I want health and fitness owners. On Wednesdays, I want event owners. He goes, and I've showed him a couple of things. By the way, first secret that comes out, LinkedIn, you've got to pay now if you want to do the advanced search. They've done away with that. Have a look at a site called Recruitem, R-E-C-R-U-I-T-E-M.
Recruitem.
Recruitem.net.
Just spell it one more time for us, and we may get a lower third to come up as well.
Right, RECRUITEM.net, I think it is.
All right,
You can just
we'll check that out, recruitem.net, yep.
And that gives you the old advanced LinkedIn search. So now he goes into these and he'll put in the searches, come up with 20 people, it'll be 20 profiles, he'll read the profiles, make sure it's the right kind of people, and then he'll go and he'll connect with them, but it's a personalized message for each of the different sectors. So if it's health and fitness, hi, this is Frank, I'd love to connect with you, I speak at FIBA, I work with URSA, which is all things they know and they connect with, and they come back to me, Frank, it's so great to connect with you. Once I've got that online relationship, I can start feeding them other stuff. When they like me, trust me, I can then start to sell myself to them.
Do you I mean, you've got a brand, you are Frank Furness, so, and we were talking outside before we started the day that this whole industry, we have silos. There are different people within different silos that people know about. But as a brand, do you think being Frank Furness helps when people are connecting with you and when you're responding to them? For instance, when I connect with somebody, they may say, Steve who? And instantly then, you're on the back foot. So, but with you, when you say you're Frank Furness, there's a different gravitas in the name that you're using. Is that important, or is that something you get over?
Well, you've got 2 different kinds of brands. You've got the personal brand and then you've got the corporate brand. So to give you an example of where I've combined with those, I work with a lot of companies all over the world. And a little while ago, I was speaking to a group of CEOs in Fort Lauderdale. And one of the guys sitting there put up his hand about halfway through and he said, I don't know what you're talking about. The social media stuff's going way over my head. He says, but I know we've got to do it. Can you come into my law firm and work with me? And I sat there with 10 of his partners. We had a whole day. And at the end of it, he said, I've got it. I've got to build the brand. They put in a green screen studio immediately. And now he does 3 or 4 videos every week, puts them out, every success they've had. Everybody there is involved in their successes. They have their tips of the week. This was picked up on YouTube by one of the big TV channels who saw this guy is a little bit weird, is a little bit wacky, is different. Now, anytime anything legal happens in Florida, who are they going to pull in? They pull in Peter Tickton. So there, now his business has absolutely skyrocketed. There's an example of somebody that has done a personal brand by just doing what he had to do, but in turn that's fed into the business, and the business is doing massively.
So I suppose you would say then, planning your social media strategy is probably the most important thing then.
Absolutely. That's where you've got to start. Most companies just say, okay, let's just go and do it. We're going to get it all together, or we're just going to hit one platform. You've actually got to sit for a day and say, what is our strategy? What is our target? Who's our target market? How are we going to connect with them? What do we do? Actually write to them and say, listen, we're redoing our whole social media strategy. Tell us what you want. And only then do you build up that strategy based on your customers, not based on you.
Would you then say then that because people don't spend or invest enough time into it, that's where the failure comes about then? That they'll do a little bit, they'll see no response straight away, and then there you go, that's why it doesn't work.
Yeah, well, they go, oh, we've got to do social media, we've got to get Facebook, we've got to get Pinterest, they do everything. I see it with so many firms. I go in there and they've set up everything and then there's nothing. There's not one post, or they'll post some brilliant stuff. They'll get some videos, they've spent tens of thousands on videos, put it on YouTube, they haven't set it up properly, they haven't got the right kind of tags, they've got no call to action, and they wonder why they're not getting any views. So you've got to know exactly what to do. You've got to have the strategy and then know what to do in each section. Like Facebook advertising is the best thing on the planet for targeted audiences. I don't know enough about Facebook advertising, but I know the people that do.
But you know a man that does.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just before we go any further, if you do, I hope we've got this link right. Have we got this link right? LinkedIn, we were saying that one of the biggest problems that we had over the last 18 months with LinkedIn is that they kind of charged for some of the search functionality.
Yes.
And there was a lot of complaints about that. But this particular link that we're looking at here, it's recruiting.net. Is that right? Recruitin.net. It's just sitting here. There you go. Jot that one down for yourself just for the moment, because that could be a very valuable link. We'll bring it up on screen in just a few moments' time as well, so you can see what we're talking about there. But that's going to give you the same search functionality as you used to have on LinkedIn in the old days before Microsoft came along and bought it, which is true. Listen, we've got more to come from Frank in just a few moments' time. What we're going to be talking about. Here's what you've got planned for you over the next 40 minutes or so. How to dominate Google, that's going to be the next question. What makes a great website and what's required by clients as well as Google? Remember, you've got to make your website so it's going to be readable. Marketing online with little or no technical expertise. Why and how to use the big five: YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus and LinkedIn, and how to become a YouTube superstar. All to come on this edition of Business Connections Live. Fantastic show as always, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, the advice that Frank is giving. It's just about personal profile, isn't it? And getting out there and understanding what you need to do within your business to promote it and to grow it. You're watching Business Connections Live. Great to have your company live on a Monday. Hello, this is Steve Hyland with you here. Now let's go back a week, shall we? On last week's show, we talked to Angus Grady. He is the LinkedIn Unlocker, about how to get the best out of LinkedIn for your business. It was a highly entertaining program. He's a funny bloke, actually, from a man who has had his challenges in life, but has responded to them all in good grace and a highly tuned sense of humour. His whole approach to LinkedIn, it was a refreshing look at the topic. It's another chance for you now to look at the summary of the LinkedIn learning points from last week's edition of a terrific show with Angus Grady on Business Connections Live. My guest on today's programme is the LinkedIn Unlocker. It is Angus Grady. We're talking about how to maximise the way your LinkedIn is working for you. We're also dispelling some of the myths that are out there when it comes to the way that people use LinkedIn.
The whole P2P marketing, person-to-person marketing, is what we're about now. 2019 is clearly brand new time. That whole Tom Peters article from 1997 is more relevant now, I think, than it ever was then. And I think that people take too long. Meet, like, know, trust is crucial, without a shadow of a doubt. But you want to take somebody from curiosity to connection to conversion as quick as you can. And I think the whole thing of, follow somebody for 3 years, then like a couple of articles, then send them a little connection request, then view their profile, then send them a thank you message is all very well and good. But the competition in people's inboxes on LinkedIn is fierce. But the competition in your post box is less. The whole point of your profile is that it's a magnet that attracts the best, repels the rest. Ping. It really is. The point is, though, that it's keyword led, and a lot of the newbies talk about optimizing your headline and your summary. Well, that's the secondary bit. Everything is keyword driven, and it comes from your skills. So I put that at the start of my profile, because it should be keywords, what you do, how you help people, followed by keywords. It's problem positioning profile. So work out what problem your service solves, how you then position your LinkedIn profile to reflect that. Be a problem solver, not just somebody that provides a service. And then your profile should read like a problem solving. So what do you do, who you help, and how you help them. I think that it's old hat to keep regurgitating the fact that it's a CV platform. It hasn't been that for ages. It hasn't been that for ages. It's been a business critical tool without a shadow of a doubt. Your profile is a very warm pitch. It's an introduction. So your profile, as I said before, attracts the best, repels the rest. It's a problem-solving platform. Ding. It's a problem-solving platform that allows people who are reading it. It's a filter system. If I'm reading a profile and it doesn't answer the problems I've got, I won't connect with said person. But again, if we're looking at skills and endorsements, these are the drivers. These are the drivers. Whatever your skills and endorsements are, whatever your skills are, you should be putting them into your profile. You get 3 that are shown. Okay, I've invented LinkedIn Unlocker. Lazy likes are no good. There's no point thinking I'm being active today, I'm going to like a ton of articles. Al will look at it and say, well done, you've had a couple of likes. But it's comment and engagement on those comments that really drive you having your profile pushed out to a wider audience. My name's Angus Grady, I'm the LinkedIn Unlocker, and I'm everywhere. I'm on the internet and I help you to basically unlock the potential of your profile, so to turn visitors from curiosity to connections to convert. The key takeaway, I think, is that it's about optimizing your profile. Get your social selling index right. Think about what your keywords are. So get your skills to be congruent with what your keywords are, and drop those skills and those keywords into your headline, your profile, and everywhere else. Tell people what problem you solve and how you can help them, rather than talk about your benefits. And as I've said a couple of times, this is about amplifying your value, not broadcasting your benefits. And look at your metrics, and whoever's looked at your profile, look at those figures, because you want to be on all of these. They're all leads. You want to be on it like a Dalek on a dustbin. You really do. And you want to make sure that you're using this as a marketing platform, as a listening platform. You can search on keywords and get content. There's a whole raft of areas. And if you'd like any more information, please do connect with me. My phone number's on there, but connect with me if we're not already connected. And anything I can do to help, please do send me a message on LinkedIn. And this show is brilliant, and I advise anybody thinking about their marketing to think about using this kind of platform as something that will project you to a bigger, better audience.
Angus Grady, the LinkedIn Unlocker. Fantastic show last week. If you're struggling with LinkedIn at the moment, I do suggest you watch the entire programme. It was a terrific show. Business Connections Live 259 is the program. You can find it, of course, on the website. And if you think to yourself, well, a program like that would really work for me, let me show you how it worked for Angus. He was on the show, as I said, live last Monday. Here's a LinkedIn message that he sent me. Only a bit of it, by the way, but here's a LinkedIn message that just says, hi there, Steve. Just want to say the post-broadcast, I've not been able to leave the house. Have had 4 surgeries booked and a speaking gig in Belfast is under discussion as a result of the show. Tons of new connections as well, so thank you very much. Now, you too could be on the programme, or you could be having a programme just like the one we did for Angus by getting in contact with us here at Business Connections Live. All you got to do is drop us an email to studio@businessconnectionslive.com, or you could pick up the phone and give us a call on 01784 256 777. If you want, you can always follow our Stream of Consciousness or DM us. I'm down with the boys, you see. DM us on our Twitter account at BCL Business TV. You can also watch the programme. You may well be watching it right now on your Facebook page. Just go to Facebook, Business Connections Live on Facebook. But the best place to go, with over, something like 450 odd hours of great business advice, is to go to our website at businessconnectionslive.com. And once again, my thanks to Angus Grady for coming on the programme last week. I'm going to give you more details details about why you should be on the show a little bit later on in the program. We do have a media pack that is available that we'll email over to you, or if you go to our website, you can also download it from there as well. But let me tell you this, the benefits of coming on the program far outweigh any costs or anything like that that you do. For many people, coming on the program actually is for free when you look at the returns that you get back having been on the program or use the content that you create. Now think about that for a moment. Quality content that positions you as an expert. That's what we're all looking for, isn't it? Could be the beginning of an exciting media career for you. Get in touch with us here at Business Connections Live and turn those great thoughts, that opinion, into something that's going to be, well, profitable for you, will raise your profile and bring extra customers and clients to your doorstep. That's what you want to do. You're watching Business Connections Live. We're looking at successful new media marketing today. My guest on the program is Frank Furness. Now, Frank is also an author, so I asked him, what books has he written?
One called Walking with Tigers, Success Secrets of the World's Top Business Leaders. And then I did another one called How to Find New Business and Clients. And I'm busy with another 2 books at the moment.
At the same time?
Yes, yeah.
How important, and this is just kind of off subject a wee bit, how important, if you are doing what you do and you're trying to raise your profile, we were talking there about training and how to handle the media. Is it important, do you think, for business leaders to maybe have that kind of documentation, to have a book, an e-book? Does it help?
Well, it sets you apart as the authority, the go-to person. If you've got a book, look, chances are they're never going to read that book. But it is your best calling card in the world. And especially a lot of the countries I work with in Asia, if you've written a book, they see you as an author, they see you as the expert, and they're going to bring you in before they'll bring in someone that hasn't written something.
What these days constitutes as a book? Is it 50 pages, 100 pages, 200 pages? I know it's not all about the length, but it's all about the quality. But it does seem that business books are getting thinner and thinner. What's your feelings on that?
Mine on a business book, 150 to 200 pages.
And that's about right. It's a double space it then.
That's right, yes. Yeah, that's the one, yeah. And leave big blank spaces where people can do actions, you know.
So the secret's out. That's what you've got to do if you need a business book. All right, let's get back to the topic today. New media marketing. We've kind of given you some of the insights in the fact that you should be using social media to maybe to explore and also expand your current offerings that are out there. So we've now got a strategy. We've got a strategy in place. Have we got a strategy, or is there something else that we need to add to that?
No, so they've got the strategy there, and now we've got to think about how do we get onto that first page of Google.
Is it still as important, do you think? Because every day we all receive emails from Mr. Timbuktu, we never know who it's from, and they're all claiming that they can SEO your website, first page domination. How important do you think that is, and can anybody do it for themselves?
Well, yes. So here's the thing. I mean, you get all of these companies that'll charge you an absolute fortune. I get these SEO experts. We can get you onto the first page, and I Google SEO experts, and they aren't there. How are they going to get me on the first page if they can't get themselves there, you know? So I've looked at this from a sales sort of point of view, because I'm thinking, what is Google actually looking for? How do you get onto the first page? Nobody knows except Google. But the one thing I'm finding is they're looking for social presence. If somebody types in certain keywords, do you come up? Does your business come up? So the way I like to get found is sales and technology speaker. By the way, anybody watching now, just type into Google sales and technology speaker and see what comes up on the first page of the website. I actually dominate the first page for that phrase, and I show businesses how to do that as well. Now, there you go, Steve, you're doing that there, sales and technology speaker. If we come up, how many times am I on it?
Well, there we go. Look at that. Frank Furness, speaker on sales. Frank Furness, Frank Furness, Frank Furness. Roy the butler, but Frank Furness is involved with him.
That's one of my videos, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So Frank Furness, Frank Furness, Frank Furness. That's really interesting.
Yes.
Okay, we've got the ad at the top of the page.
Yes.
But
So somebody's paying to try and sell me as a speaker, maybe, hopefully, but the rest is me. So social presence is how many channels are you out there on? And I think about taking that phrase, sales and technology speaker, and I put it everywhere. So my strategy for getting onto the first page of Google is giving them content. Every week, I have at least one blog. Now, you've got to be part of the Google family. Google owns Blogger. My blog is going to go out on Blogger. That's what they own. Everybody loves Facebook. Google's version is Google+. Most probably the most useless thing on the planet, except for search engine optimization. As soon as I make a blog, I promote it with Google+. Within 2 hours, I'm on the first page of Google for that phrase. They'll take me off the next day, the next week. I do exactly the same thing. I make one video a week, make sure all of the keywords are there, the calls to action. I immediately promote it with Google+. That gets me up on the first page. And if we look at that again there, you'll see every one of my images have been renamed for that. Take a look at the YouTube video. So if we go into the YouTube video, if we go down a little bit, you'll find there's a video over there. Can you see Sales Technology Speaker?
Yes.
It is in the title, it's in the description, and it's in the keywords. The next one down, Roy the Butler. And if we go up a little bit, take a look at my latest finding. Can you see the one just above the video? LinkedIn.
Yes.
Since Microsoft took over LinkedIn, it's now most probably the third biggest search engine. If we go on to mine, just have a look at how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. And I do this with companies all over the world. I sit in my little studio, they get all of their training people together, and I run courses on how to optimize it. So I've got 3 or 4 different phrases over there: sales and marketing speaker, social media, YouTube presenter, virtual presenter. And can you see at the top there, Frank Furness, keynote speaker? I have a little secret that I share with people on how to do that.
Well, this bit here.
Yes, that little, a little bit just under my photograph there.
Oh, right here, yeah.
Yeah, there, under there where it says keynote speaker. So I share how you can get your title there, because just under it is valuable real estate.
Because that's the bit that people see, isn't it, when they go to your LinkedIn profile. That's the instant impression. That's your first impression, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, your photograph is so important. I've gone to some people's LinkedIn and they're sitting there with the cat. I mean, you don't go to the Chamber of Commerce with your cat. You're not going to connect with anyone. You know, it's crazy.
So is it understanding as well what your professional profile is all about? You don't want your wedding photographs on there. You don't want to be sitting there where you're looking over your shoulder. This is deadly serious. This is business presentation at its most important.
Absolutely. So an example, I'm working with a law firm in Los Angeles. Get all of the lawyers together. I looked at their LinkedIn profiles. They were not great. What we did was I trained them. We got all of their profiles right, because somebody's going to type in maybe personal injury lawyer, Los Angeles. And whoever comes up on LinkedIn, they're going to have a look at the profile. They're going to read through it. But you've seen the power now. If they've got that personal injury lawyer, Los Angeles, optimized on LinkedIn, it'll bring it up on the first page of Google without having to pay for it. There I am on the first page of Google, Sales Technology Speaker. So if you know how all of this works, you optimize your LinkedIn profile. Well, there's another thing.
The phrase sales technology speaker, where did that come from? Because surely if you're optimizing for that, and that must be one of the biggest problems that some businesses have or individuals have, is knowing what to optimize for. Everybody talks about keywords, but what does it really mean?
I mean, keywords is a huge, huge area. So what you've got to find is you've got to analyze what people are actually looking for. So I started with sales speaker or sales and marketing speaker. The competition was just too huge. So sometimes what you've got to look at is lesser searches, but you're going to get a great audience over there. If I have to put in sales speaker, no matter how much I try, I'm going to be on page 10 of Google. No one's ever going to find me. So what I'll do is I'll use maybe Google Analytics to go in and find the kind of words for me. And that almost leads back to one of the other areas, which is websites. If you're going to do your website, you have to start with the keywords. And as I've said there, Steve, I don't know everything. All I do is I know the experts that do. There I work with a team in Australia who are Google partners. They're actually British. They live out there. They do incredible stuff. And before they'll do any website for anyone, they'll spend maybe 2 weeks just analyzing all of the keywords, all of the competition. They'll look at all of the competitors. And once they've found all of those keywords, they've done the research, they then start building that into the website, because now you start to get generic visits to your website because you've actually optimized it for those keywords. And then you go through all of the other things with the website, of course, like have you got Google Analytics? It's a sales tool. Do you know how many times people are coming in? If they're coming into one page, they're spending 10 seconds there, and they're going, oh, you've got to fix the page. Because there's the other thing, sales copy. Get yourself a great copywriter. Most marketing people think they're pretty good at copywriting. They're not. If I want a copywriter, I go on to the sites like guru.com, Odesk. I look for the top copywriters who have brilliant ratings, and I'll pay them a lot of money to use that copy. Because you can have a great website. If the copy is not connecting with your audience, people are going to click in, they're going to click out, and you've just wasted your money on everything.
Do you think it's right for all industries? I mean, you're doing this, you're marketing yourself as a speaking expert. Is it right for speaking experts or people like yourself? Would an SME, a small business owner, or even a medium-scale business owner, I mean, is this something they should be doing as well with their website? Or have we got too many brochure websites out there?
Oh, most of the websites out there are absolutely awful. I mean, the old strategy, I'll get my brother's uncle's cousin to do it for me. I'll give him $100. And I still see those websites. Nowadays, people, first impressions are everything. And so many CEOs I speak to say, if I go into a website and it looks terrible, I'm out of there. I don't want to do business with that company. If they can't get their website right, what is the rest of their business going to be? This is your showroom now. So you've got to get that website right. The best part about all of this, Steve, is we're now on an even playing field. In the old days, the biggest companies that had the biggest budgets would dominate the first page. Now you can get an SME very cleverly by doing all of the social media stuff. They can be on that first page of the website. So the playing field is fantastic now if you know how to play the game.
It's interesting. When we were looking at your profile a moment or so ago, and we were talking about all the different social media platforms that you're on, the thing that was interesting was that we've got LinkedIn comes up there, your YouTube comes up there. Who else comes up there? Speaker Corner comes up there. That's on Facebook, effectively, isn't it? Speaker's Corner.
Yeah.
Who else have we got? Motivational Speaker Agency. It's just that some of the other social media platforms aren't there. Oh, mind you, saying that, very last one I noticed at the very bottom, Pinterest.
There you go, Pinterest. Now, the thing is, nobody knows how that algorithm works. I can look at it tomorrow and it'll be totally different. Instagram post might come up there. A blog post might come up there. Nobody knows how that rhythm works, but all I'm doing is feeding out information. Because think about it, Steve, every one of us every day goes onto Google and we do searches. What we're looking for is information to help us make a decision to do something. So as a business, how much information are you actually putting out there to let people find you? And most businesses aren't doing blogs, they're not doing any postings. How are they ever going to be found and be seen as experts? And now I work with a lot of law firms around the world, and traditionally they were, how do you get your business? Oh, we wait for someone to call. Oh, what happens when they stop calling? Oh,
we got out of business.
We got out of business. We never thought about that. And the smart ones now, I work with a law firm in Queensland, second biggest law firm in Australia called Shine Lawyers. They have 3 full-time people doing social media for them. They've realized that. I'm working with accounting practices, so much professional practice now, people can be found because what they're doing is they're giving out incredible information. They've got information and a lot of them aren't giving it out. The ones that are being found and getting the business.
Just incredible information on that. I was sitting here actually taking notes again. Frank Furness, he is just a marketing guru. And let's just have a quick look at his website, shall we? This is the current Frank Furness website that you can go to, obviously at frankfurness.com, but you go down the page. Some really good advice on here as well. Lots of great assets that you can either download, watch, or you can read. Some good information from Frank, as always. The Frank Furness CSP Speaker Showcase. He is an incredible speaker. If you get an opportunity to see Frank actually speaking in the flesh, then can I suggest that you do that? But do watch some of his videos that are available as well on YouTube and other video platforms too. Watch this entire program again and take notes for the second time. A fantastic site, fantastic resources as well if you're looking at marketing your business at the moment. And I was just writing notes down there about the way he uses social media, about the way he is blogging out, and the fact that he is, I just had a quick look on Google once again, he is still at the top of his game. He is still page one for that technology speaker. He is still number one for that on Google. So, I mean, he really does. He lives by the rules that he sets down and he recommends to other people. Absolutely fantastic. More from Frank in just a moment on this edition of Business Connections Live. So then let's go back and get some more good hints and tips. Customer experience these days tends to be really, really important. Not just tends to be, really is important. Jerry Brown joined me on the program just recently, and we're looking at the customer experience. Jerry calls himself the customer lifeguard. He's there to rescue customers from bad service from large and small organizations. And he helps organizations as well to change their mantra when it comes to the way that they approach customer service. Jerry, as always, gives good advice. And with the key takeaways, here's Jerry Brown on Business Connections Live.
So I'm Jerry Brown, the customer lifeguard. I am on a mission to save the world from bad customer service, and I'm trying to do it one customer at a time. But I think the point I would like to leave you with is really just to say what I just said to Steve. As an organization, as a company of any size, you do control your own destiny. You do control the ability to deliver a great customer experience. And you will probably find that if you bring this to your employees, they will absolutely engage with you. We've heard about employee experience, how important it is. If you make the point to them that this is great for everybody, that this is something that they can participate in, they're not being told they must do this, they must do that. They play an active part. It will make a huge difference because, as we said off the top, when a customer wins, nobody loses.
When a customer wins, nobody loses. You'll find Jerry's program on Business Connections Live. It's number 216, went out in February of last year. Some good advice, and it just doesn't change, you know. That's what's so good about the program. So a lot of what we talk about here on the program is advice and information and maybe strategies that you can put into your business today, right now. It doesn't matter if it went out last year or it went out at the beginning of this year. Those strategies are still valid, and you can still implement them into your business. Just a moment, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how you can get on the program. You heard earlier on from Angus Grady talking about how it helped his business, it raised his profile. The thing that we always point out to anyone that comes on the program, it isn't just about being on the program. Yes, it gives you the experience that you want. If you want to go on and be an expert in broadcast television, if you want to be a spokesperson on the radio, if you want that, it's very different from speaking. It's very different from giving a presentation, being interviewed. And when we put somebody in the chair, we elevate them to the position of expert. Now, in all cases, they are experts in their fields, but it's very different being interviewed as an expert and getting your point across as opposed to standing up in front of a presentation and delivering maybe a keynote or something like that. And already you can see, because it just shows a little bit of the humanity in you, it shows a little bit of the other side. It shows whether you can talk, whether you're quick on your feet as well. If you'd like to come on the program, I will give you more details very shortly here on this edition of Business Connections Live. Well, you're watching Business Connections Live. Steve Hyland with you here. We're live on a Monday, as we always are. We won't be here next weekend. It is a bank holiday in the UK, so we're taking a Monday off. But we will be back the following week with more great business information for you here on Business Connections Live. Let's go back to our presentation today, our interview today. It is Frank Furness. Frank Furness, an international speaker, and what he doesn't know about successful New World media marketing isn't worth knowing. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Is digital marketing right for all businesses, whether they're big or small?
Oh, absolutely. Any business out there have got to have a digital strategy, and they now can get onto that even playing platform. I'm starting to do some work with one business, and at the moment I can't say too much about them, but they spend $100,000 a month on Facebook advertising. They've done brilliantly, but they've realized they've got to go and they've got to reach all of the other platforms. So now I'm helping them with all of the others apart from Facebook advertising. There's an example of a big one. Small firm, Ticton Law, that I told you about. Small little law firm, absolutely dominating. Another law firm, Stoned In, Los Angeles, absolutely dominating because they've taken on a young guy, he's 21 years old. I work with him all the time. He does the things I don't want to do. I give him the strategy, I give him all of the ideas. He does the actual go-to stuff. And that's one of the things I say to businesses is find the right person to come in and do it for you. You can go in, you can get a great digital company to do the stuff. They're going to charge you an absolute fortune, and they own it. You actually want to own your whole strategy. You have an argument with them one day and you say goodbye, they'll say bye-bye, we've got all of the logins, we've got everything, you've got to start all over again. So for most businesses, just accept, let me find somebody and actually pay them a lot of money. Don't get your cousin's son and try and pay him something small. This is your whole new marketing department. You've really got to take this seriously, and it doesn't matter how big or how small you are, we're on that even playing field as long as you've got that strategy and you take action. That's the other thing.
What about finding the content? I remember we had Gordon Treadgold on the programme a while back. You're familiar with Gordon, aren't you?
Yes, yeah.
And Gordon was he would do a blog each and every day that he would publish on LinkedIn. And I asked him, where do all the ideas come from? And what he said was, find an idea and then look at it from 5 different perspectives. And that will give you the content that you need to get out there. Because the other problem that you've got is if you are blogging at irregular intervals, what can happen is that you may have to wait a couple of weeks for that next great blog to come out. So the more you do, the more chances of it being a great blog.
So here's some ideas as well. I'm very, very big on article marketing. I love articles. I had my own column in an
What does that mean? What is article marketing?
So getting articles out there, writing articles, and getting them onto every platform. So here's an idea. If you're a business, think about 8 questions that people ask you all the time. Whatever kind of business, we've got a TV studio. What does it cost me to hire a studio? How long does it take? How long is the post-production? Every one of those is a question. You can turn those into an article. Now you've got an article. The first place the article goes is to Blogger. Google owns Blogger. You promote it with Google+. Next place it goes is onto your website. Same article. Same article now goes onto LinkedIn. You promote it with Facebook. You promote it with all the other social media channels. You now record it as a podcast, goes out to all the podcast channels. Now take that same article, turn it into a video. That video goes onto YouTube, it goes onto your website, goes onto Vimeo, it goes onto Facebook as a native TV. One piece, just one question, there you've got
all those
10 different
platforms.
Channels. Yes, so I use a little thing called create once, publish everywhere. COPE, create once, publish everywhere. And just think about doing that. Another great little idea, where do I get content? Go to a place on the website called Quora, Quora. Just go and type in a question there. You'll get hundreds of people contributing to that, giving you answers. So I had one recently saying, what's the best social media platform? I found things I'd never heard of. This is the business I'm in, but people are coming up, why don't you try this channel? Why don't you try this? All of a sudden, I've got a great article. Here's some new channels I've discovered. Here's some great software. I've tried this out. Got another question, put it up there. Financial advisors. What's the biggest challenge you face as a financial advisor? Regulation, how to find new clients. There's a new article.
Really fascinating. Do write this down. By the way, Frank has also put together a PDF that you can download. It'll be available after the program, but that's what 29 tools that you can use within your blogging or to build your business on social media, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes.
Just great information here. And if you're thinking to yourself, this isn't targeting me, this isn't what business is all about, this is all about driving traffic, isn't it, to your website?
Absolutely, yes.
And when they get there, do you find that many businesses will drive the traffic, but there's no payoff, there's no call to action? You get to the website and there's nothing there to do. Do you see that?
Biggest challenge I see is I go onto a website, I want to see a phone number straight there in the top right-hand corner. Companies hide that phone number, so I've got to search through, I've got to find contact me, and right at the bottom, make it easy for people to do business with you. Put the phone number there. Think about word psychology. Above the phone number, call now. People see that, oh, let me just call them now, let me phone them. So there's a whole sales psychological approach that actually goes into the website as well. When you think about it, there's 3 things. What is the problem? What is the solution? What is the action? And almost every one of your pages or your website has got to answer that. In 7 seconds, someone is coming in. You've got 7 seconds to capture their attention and say, can you solve my problem? I don't care that you've been around for 100 years. I don't care that you've got the best customer service in the world, because every other website has said exactly the same thing. Yeah. So one of the other things, when I work with businesses, I spend up to 3 hours finding out what is it that makes you unique or different? If your competitor can say it, it's not unique. And you have to dig really, really deep.
So if I said to you then, what makes Frank Furness unique, what would it be?
I think I give absolute practical advice. I prove what I'm doing, and companies get results almost immediately.
But is that not something that other people could claim as well?
Other people could claim that, but you've seen sales technology speaker. So I've said I can get onto the first page. You go and sit with a client, they do that. There's the proof.
So what you're saying is you action it and the others talk about it.
Absolutely, yeah. Anyone can read a book and talk about it. I have actual proof. You look at my LinkedIn profile, you see it's got me onto the first page. I'll show them what to do. I've sat with companies where I've given them LinkedIn training. They don't come up anywhere on a search, and within seconds of changing it, they come up on the first page, and they're just blown away. I was in Australia working with a company over there. They cut trees, so they want to be found as arborists, and they didn't come up anywhere. We did the LinkedIn training while we were there and did all the other stuff, and all of a sudden they started popping up on the first page, and they were blown away because it was happening while we were there actually doing it.
Another piece of advice, actually, if you are going to be writing for Google, the way the algorithms have changed over the years, of course, there used to be all the black hat ways that you would optimize your page, you would do keyword stuffing. And what Google is looking for now, if you approach Google in such a way as that Google is a shop, and people go to the shop, and when they go to the shop, they are looking for something. And if Google doesn't deliver, then people won't use Google as their search engine. So what Google wants to do is deliver the best possible results for a search. And the best way of making certain that Google knows what your website is about is to write in English, isn't it? It's just to write clear, defined English.
Yeah.
Or South African.
Or South African, well, that's a whole different language again, And by the way, you can translate this into English if you want.
All right, then let's move on then. So we're marketing online with little or no technical expertise. That's actually coming over, that really it's just about common sense. Do you find it frustrating when you talk to people who say it really is just common sense and they don't see that?
It really frustrates me because we've tried it before, it hasn't worked. We've used an agency, it hasn't worked. Well, you haven't done the right kind of things. You've just got to follow this formula, the strategy, coming up with what you want. And I mean, there's places where you can go and get stuff. If I'm doing a talk somewhere and I've got someone from a digital agency, they hate me because I share secrets with people. And why are you telling people that? Give an example. Recently, I was talking to a group of CEOs. And I said, I'm going to take you to a website called Fiverr. Have you heard of Fiverr?
I have indeed.
Fiverr.com. And you can get brilliant stuff made for next to nothing. And I said, let's take a look at one of those little handwriting things. You can put your logo and they write with their hands. And we looked up and we found one that actually was $6.50. And one of the guys stormed out of the room and it was, what's going on now, And he came back and he was shouting, I've just paid $10,000 to have exactly the same thing done. So it's knowing where to go. There's so much brilliant free information or low-cost stuff that you can be doing out there yourself.
It is amazing. If you do get an opportunity, do use Fiverr. You will be amazed at what you find on it. All right, then. So, I mean, we've got one more segment to go, but before we get there, using the big five, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and LinkedIn, you mentioned at the beginning that really what you should do is you should step back for a moment and choose which ones you're going to use. But do you think it's imperative that we use at least those five and we do them well?
Absolutely. Again, we've seen there Google is looking for that social presence. And if you're going to use any of those platforms, keep regular content going out there. It's no use having a platform and nothing is going out there. So what I do is I do chunking days. So I have one video a week that goes out onto YouTube. I'm not going to come in Monday morning and say, I'm going to make this video. I'll spend all day doing it. So I'll have a chunking day, and similar to what we've got a studio over here, I've got one at my home in Orlando, where I go in, and in one day I did 55 videos.
Do you know what? Doesn't this life sound glamorous? There's no two ways about it. I was talking to this guy in America, Orlando, South America, Australia. Yeah. Whatever.
And here I am now in glamorous south of London, is it? West London.
West London, yeah, lovely. In the snow. But anyway, yes, you're sorry, I interrupted your train of thought there, but far away, yes. this. You were saying about the fact that you have your chunking days that you go into the studio and you sit down. Tell us the process.
So what I do over there, I've got the green screen studio, and you don't need a lot of people. So I've got a camera like we've got here. I've got the remote control. I hit it, it starts. I don't need anyone over there. I've got all of the lights set up. I've got the right kind of sound. Now the preparation time is a month before I go and do those 55 videos. I've got a whole lot of suits there in different shirts, so it doesn't look like I'm in the same shirt on every video that I've done. Do the green screen, you can drop anything into it. The post-production takes a long time. But now imagine in one day I've done 55 videos. Once I've produced them, I've got a year's worth of content. Monday I've got the video, I can put it on. I don't have to come in and say, oh, I've got to create a video. I have chunking days for articles where I switch off the phone, I don't look at emails. All I'm doing is focusing on maybe writing the 4 articles for that month that I'm going to be using. If I'm flying on an aeroplane, I'll sit and I'll write the articles. What I don't want to do, and what it's not going to work for you, is a lot of companies say, okay, somebody can do part-time marketing on this internet stuff. It's never going to work. I look at the law firms and they'll say to one of the partners, okay, you in charge of business development. Well, he makes his money by charging hours. Do you think he's going to say, oh, I'm not going to be charging for those 10 hours a week? No, he's going to be charging. Find somebody dedicated that's going to come in, and that's what they're going to be doing. I worked with a company in the north of England, a big property company, and I was doing a talk to them, and there was a quiet guy that worked for the company, and his eyes just shone, and all of a sudden he came alive. Young guy, this company didn't know he was a genius at online marketing. He was dabbling with all of the stuff. Within 1 week, they had a full green screen studio. They are now just skyrocketing because this is this young guy's passion, and he's just taken this business and lifted them right up. Find the right people.
Find the right people. Love the idea about chunking as well. 44 videos in a day. I actually saw his green screen setup. It is quite impressive. But the nice thing about it isn't just about, we've got loads of cameras in here, but with his one camera, but then sitting on top of his microphone stand, he's also got his iPhone or a smartphone, and he will shoot on that as well for different markets. The bloke is inspiring. It sounds like a fan club here, don't I? But he really is an inspiring guy when it comes to marketing. As I said, if you go onto his website, if you put Frank Furness in as well into Google, he is at the top of the rankings all the way. The big joke about Frank, of course, is if you ever meet him, he will always sell you something. And there are some good tools available on his website as well. So if you go to frankfurness.com, then you'll find some of them there. You're watching Business Connections Live. Great to have your company as always. Here we are. It's live on a Monday. A lot of people have been asking us how to get on the program, and it is really straightforward. We have 3 levels that will invite you to come on the program. The first level is as a guest. You come on, and you do get assets after the program as well that you can use in your own internal and external marketing. If you want to get out there, maybe use it as a video calling card. I think the thing that's, as I said earlier on, that's important about this is these are tools to use in your new world marketing. You need to use these tools. If you don't have access to these tools at the moment, then you do need them. To be interviewed as well puts you in a situation where you are answering core questions from your knowledge. So if you want to be able to express that expertise, then sitting here is the ideal way of doing that. So that is our guest package. There are 3, in fact. We also have a package as well, which is called the Professional, which is a little bit more involved. It gives you more content that you can use post the program to market. And then if you're looking for something that really is a completely customized program for your organization, for your business, something that, you're really taking this seriously, because this is about you. You are taking this seriously. You want to promote yourself. You want to raise your profile. There is a lot of noise out there at the moment when it comes to social media and websites. We Google something, and if we Google a particular topic, there are hundreds of people you are competing against. How do you stand head and shoulders above that noise? How do you make yourself heard? Well, coming on the program is one particular way. And the thing, we were having a conversation about this before we started the show today. And the thing about this is to be more successful when you come on a program like this is to use the tools that you get from this. It isn't about just being on the show and then hoping. It's about being on the show and then strategically using that content to promote you, to use that experience so that you can move on to bigger and better things. To use that expertise that you have to influence other people, having been on the show. So if you want more details, if you'd like our rate card, then simply get in touch with us. I'll give you the details right now. All you've got to do is drop us an email, if that's okay, to studio@businessconnectionslive.com. Do it now. Do it right now. Linda is by her PC. She's got a bank of PCs there. It's a very impressive, it's a huge PC, big PC. So contact Linda at studio@businessconnectionslive.com. Better still, pick the phone up, ring us. Don't ring us right now, because here we are, we're live at the moment, and the time is coming up to 1 o'clock or thereabouts. Call us after the program, call us this afternoon, but ring us on 01784 256 777 if you want us to talk you through the key benefits of being on this program. Do that. 01784 256 777. And if you want to see the kind of people that have been on the show, then simply go to the website at businessconnectionslive.com. Remember what Angus said. He was overwhelmed by the response. I must admit, even the promotions that we put up there, people were endorsing Angus Grady before he came on the program. And the amount of traffic that was generated post the show was phenomenal. But that was from some of his existing users. And on top of that, he has grown that list. Do you want to do that? Get in touch with Business Connections Live. You're watching Business Connections Live. Great to have your company. We're live, as always, here on a Monday. And my guest on today's show is the incredible Frank Furness, international speaker. We're all superstars in our own little circle. We are all silo-based. But I asked Frank, was he a YouTube superstar?
Well, I've got 700 videos up there, and a lot of them have got 500,000 views, 300,000 views.
So yes, then.
So, yes, but mine is...
But are you doing it for the money?
In the beginning, I did. But YouTube have cleverly now demonetized all of that, because what they're saying is you've got to have 4,000 hours of viewing before you can be a partner. Almost nobody can do that. So the whole monetization has gone. So now it's really, I use it for a whole lot of different things. I have a lot of tips going out there. So I have social media tips. I have a lot of sales tips. By the way, please take a look at my channel, youtube.com/sales tips. Sales tips.
Sales tips. I shall find that while he's talking. Hang on, let me just get that for you.
And 700 videos there, youtube.com/sales tips.
We're not far behind you, actually. Sales tips.
There we go.
And as if by magic, YouTube, in its inevitable style, will come up, and there we are. There's Frank's YouTube site there. That's a lovely picture there. Is that your younger brother, by the way?
That is my younger brother,
Yeah,
and there's a little thing called Photoshop that works really, really well when you get to our age.
But this is good, and I love the informality of it. One of the things that I noticed, there are a lot of talking heads on YouTube. And obviously what you've tried to do there, and you can see it by the kind of content that you've got here that's on your YouTube site, they're not straight talking heads. I mean, there's a few there, but also examples of your talking career as well, and your vlog. So what's the ideal stuff to put onto your channel?
It's exactly what your audience wants. So if we look at mine there, what are the other things that YouTube wants? Think of it as a TV station, and they have things called playlists. Make it easy for people to find you. So I have playlists of speaking live. I have sales tips. I have social media tips. I have meet the expert tips. I have video testimonials. Each one of those is separate. It makes it easy. Somebody wants credibility, they'll go into video testimonials, they'll watch it. What they don't want to do is go and scroll through and they'll just lose interest and click out of there straight away. So like anything in sales, make it easy for people to buy from you. With YouTube, exactly the same.
Which leads on nicely then to the improved visibility and sales. A lot of people, I think, are frightened or don't know how to turn all this traffic into sales. What's your advice to them?
Well, again, you can be doing all of the stuff. They're going to be coming into your website. If you don't know people are visiting your website, you're just losing. Get them to do something. Take some kind of action. Let them sign up for a newsletter, but you've got to give them a proper newsletter. What I don't want is to go to someone's website and they say, sign up for our newsletter. No. Why? I've got 100 other newsletters. So I would have a video where you're speaking about why you should sign up, what you're going to get. You're not going to get bombarded. But also use things like retargeting. You know, you go in and you look at a hotel site. Next thing you're on Facebook and that hotel pops up. Whoa, this is magic. What's going on here? Go to Instagram. Whoa, how's this happening? And by the 5th time you've seen it, well, actually, let me book that hotel. Let me take some kind of action. That's called retargeting. Very simple to do. Companies go in, put a little bit of code into your website there. And if they've come to one of the pages where they're interested in something, you now start popping up everywhere. They see you and they'll take some kind of action.
And you can budget that as well, can't you? So it won't run away with itself, will it?
No. On any of this kind of stuff, you tell them what kind of budget you've got, how much you actually want to spend. And always just think about that, the old sales, problem, solution, action. Anyone comes to your website, they've got a problem. As I've said, they don't care that you've been around for 100 years, you're the best family. All they care about is, I've got a problem, I want to increase my sales, or I want to be better at something. Are you the best people? Let me see a little bit of proof. Are there any video testimonials over there? What's the call to action? Who do I phone? Or one of the best things is those little chat boxes that come up. I buy stacks of software. What I don't want, if I've got a problem, is I've got to email the company and wait a week for them to come back. They're out of my mind. They're gone. What I want is go into that chat box straight away. I've got a problem with the software. What do I do? Someone's speaking to me. I love it, and I'll buy it.
Fantastic. Now, I know you're also a man of multiple websites. And kind of off topic a wee bit, so we've talked about going to multiple social media platforms, but how many websites does Frank Furness have?
I think I've got 22 at the last count, but I've got 300 domains registered.
Why?
Well, either to sell some of those domains, I bought them a while ago, some really good domains, but all of the others is I've got products that I'm busy making for people. So one of the products I've just made has got just what we're speaking about, social media. It's got 185 videos, 12 ebooks, and if you go to onlinemarketing4.business, this is the page that it'll open up there.
And this is it. If we just have a quick gander at the page, and you'll see here, just come over here, there we go. So digital and social media training courses. Now, as we say on this program, this isn't about selling Frank's content. Even on saying that, if you do want to go to the website and buy it, then go right ahead. But it's not an overly complicated website, is it? It's straightforward. It tells you how much it's going to be. It tells you what the key sales strategy behind it is. Here's why it's going to work for you. It explains to you one of the benefits, a one-off investment plan. And now, this is the old internet marketing numbers, isn't it? $97, $987. Does that actually matter? Does that work? Does it make a difference?
I don't know.
Well, there we have it.
The experts have said it works, so I'm just going to listen to what the experts say.
Listen, it's been fascinating. If you want to go to the websites, as we said, now we're going to give you a whole list of downloadables as well that you can go to. I'll just see if I've actually got it. Yes, I have. We've got this downloadable. It's called 29 Free Research Tools. You'll be able to download this one after the programme. If you're watching on iTunes, you'll be able to find a link within the description which will take you to this particular page so you can download it. All we do ask you for is your email address. But please, if we can just go back to it again very quickly. It is crammed, packed, full of great ideas, some great information and tools that you can use to increase your visibility when it comes to social media platforms. There are 29 individual tools there. Frank's also given you some more great information that you need as well when it comes to finding out maybe what your customers are actually talking about. Frank, we're nearly at the end of the show. It's flown by. It's been an insight. I've been wanting you on the show for such a long time. I tried contacting your office and they said, you're not big enough. We don't want you here. That isn't true, by the way. And we met at PSA a couple of weeks back, the Professional Speakers Association. Now, you're a founding member of that. You're a founding light.
Yes, and past president.
And if people are doing public speaking, worth getting involved with, do you think?
Oh, yes, absolutely, because you go there, you'll learn everything about it. I do run speakers boot camps as well, if anyone's interested. in becoming a professional. So I just thought I had to get that
absolutely.
in, you know. But it's a great organisation to go to network. As you've said, you've met some great people over there. You've seen people that would be interesting for your
Most of them
program.
have been on the show, which is great,
And
which
there
is
we go.
fantastic. So brilliant. So well worth going along to. Frank, we always ask our guests to give us the key takeaways when they're about to walk out the door. I suppose it's the closest thing to a pitch without it being a pitch. Say who you are, say where you're from, of course, and those key takeaways that we need to remember when it comes to raising our profile and getting out there and using the new marketing that is available to us. Straight down camera number 4, the airways, Frank, are all yours.
Okay, so there's a lot of things you've got to do. First thing is get that strategy in place. Get a great website, find the right kind of people to do the keyword analysis, find out what your audience want, ask them what they want, then get out there and create the social media. Create once, publish everywhere. And then the other big thing we didn't even mention was please respond to what everyone is doing. So somebody's going to be putting comments on your YouTube, don't just leave it there, go back. Someone's going into your LinkedIn, they're putting some stuff in there, please go back again. And one last thing, Steve, I've just written an ebook, 80-page ebook on the best times to post on social media, because get up in the morning, first thing we do is look at the phone. So is that the best time to post? If anyone wants it, they can just contact me, frank@frankfurness.com, and they can get a free download, an extra bonus for the program. So this is Frank Furness. Thanks for having me on the show. It's been absolutely brilliant.
And it has been truly, absolutely brilliant. My thanks to Frank Furness for joining me here on Business Connections Live, and we will be having him back on the program. When he was talking from Florida on Saturday, I did say that he said, are there any questions to both the South African and also the UK audience? And I piped up and said, will you come back on the show when you're back in the UK? And Frank said, of course. So we're looking forward to having Frank in the near future back here on Business Connections Live. Just an inspirational guy. I think Frank Furness is incredible. Heard of him several years back. Linda went to a particular presentation that he gave where he was talking to, I think it was business women, I think is what he was talking to. And she just came away saying, this is just an amazing speaker. If you get a chance to see Frank Furness, then all I can do is suggest that you go see him. If you want to go to his website, the current, up-to-date, both his YouTube site and also his main website, just go to Frank Furness. You'll find it at frankfurness. Can we have a look at the site again, please? Frank Furness, thank you, .com. Helping individuals and organisations reach new levels of excellence. Some really good resources on the site. If you want to find out more, simply go to the site and you will discover a whole host of fantastic assets and resources there with Frank Furness. Well, what a show that was, well worth listening to again. I've learned a lot. I've got a page of notes that I've taken down just listening to Frank. And I think the danger is that we do go to meetings, we do go to talks, we go to breakfast meetings, and these experts stand up in front of us and we listen, we go, ooh, that's a really good idea, and then we take no action. Take action today. Pick the phone up, give us a call if you want to be on the show. Go to Frank's webpage at businessconnectionslive.com. Download that free giveaway. There will be a link on the page within the next half hour where you can download it. As I say, all we want is just your email address, and then we can just send stuff to you. That would be fantastic. Okay, that wraps up today's show. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's been absolutely fantastic. I've learned a lot today because, like you, I've been listening and learning. So then, who we got lined up on coming shows? Relton Heron's going to be on the show, digital marketing and branding strategies specialist. He's helped us a lot. Safrina Valenti, founder of Logistics Compare, she's going to be on the show shortly. Warren Knight, professional speaker, is coming on to talk about his upcoming book. Till we do it all again next week or the week after. Have yourself a great week. Successful business. Bye for now. Bye-bye.